Hello and welcome to Inner Circle Guidance. Today we're going to be doing a collective reading, but for those of you who are new to the circle, hello and welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I post new videos every single day. And if you're looking for daily short tarot readings, check out my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts. If you're looking for personal services or personal readings, I offer them through my website, innercircleguidance.com. We have Justice, we have the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Page of Cups, and the Six of Swords. I have 10 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck here. We have the Three of Cups. This is very interesting because not only did we get the Justice card yesterday, but my question was, because I had a specific one today, because a lot of you have been asking what you need to do right now in order to achieve your goals. And I asked for 4 cards with the obstacle being on the bottom of the deck, which is interesting because you got the 10 of Pentacles. Some of you are resistant to your own happiness. Now, for some of you, that could be in specific areas of your 10 of Pentacles. For others of you, it may be in multiple areas. But I'm seeing that there is justice coming in that is going to teach you that you are worthy. And or if you're having issues with rejecting your own happiness in the sense of your problem is that you don't know how to define your happiness in certain areas. I'm seeing that the universe is going to be bringing that to the forefront through friends and family, through gatherings, or through like events, like work events or family events or friend events, those types of things, like through gatherings. There's gonna be some celebrations coming in, some things that are going to happen that are really positive, that you've been waiting for a long time, but maybe that you're not expecting. Now, this can come in the form of whatever it is being something you didn't expect to have or like as much as you end up liking it, or it could be something coming in that surprises you and helps lead you towards the direction in which you need to go in order to either claim your 10 of Pentacles energy or define that energy so that you can claim it. And it's going to allow you to move away from some of these, like I'm hearing that you have a lot of emotional turmoil going on right now. Whether you're aware of it or not, there's a lot on your mind. You're kind of not even sure where to begin. And you're going to be moving into calmer waters with that. And I'm seeing because oftentimes the Six of Swords is a card that indicates that you're bringing baggage with you. But what I'm actually seeing with this card this time in this particular reading is that you're actually going to be bringing lessons with you. Very, very valuable lessons that you really needed to learn to balance out your karma and to also be able to live this 10 of Pentacles energy. Because I've talked about this before, how the 10 of Pentacles is happiness and fulfillment in all areas of your life. But the difficulty of manifesting this kind of energy is that you have to be extremely self-aware. You have to have really strong boundaries. You have to be unapologetic in going after the things that you want, but doing it in the right way with positive energy. This is not an easy sort of happiness to gain, because in order to understand this level of manifestation and positivity, that means that you also have to understand the opposite of that. You can't say gain a lot of wisdom without going through pain. You can't be very happy without knowing what sadness feels like. It may sound a little unfair, but that is the balance of the energies of the universe. You can't have light without dark. You can't have good without bad. You have to have a certain level of balance in the scales. And it's a delicate balance that the universe fights very hard to maintain. And sometimes people get caught up in that cycle and are sort of a little bit of victims of that balance. But most typically, even if you've been through a very difficult time or had a very difficult life, there is a lot of happiness and abundance on the other side of that, but you have to sort of get through these trials and tribulations. And it takes place differently for different people. Some people prefer to have it through their entire lifespan, where things sort of go up and down more evenly. Other people choose to have almost everything thrown at them at once when they're younger, so that they can just live out the rest of their lives very happy and peaceful. Now, that doesn't mean that nothing's ever going to go wrong after that, but the severity of it is different. And I do think that you have a choice in that. It's through the energy you put out to the universe and the way that you have a relationship with your guides. You also know how much you can and can't handle. And sometimes we get thrown things that are much harder that we think we can't handle. We end up overcoming it, and then our ability to handle more expands. But don't shy away from your own happiness. If you're not sure how to define a certain area of your happiness, do some inner work, do some experimenting, follow what feels right, because your gut will lead you in the right direction. And if anything ever feels off, it is off. You don't need to investigate why it's off. That's a waste of energy. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And if it's wrong, it's not going to suddenly one day feel right. So I think sometimes we get too caught up in our heads about making decisions because we're afraid that if we make a decision, we're somehow going to make the wrong choice. You have to remember that the universe is on your side. The universe isn't out to punish you. This isn't a test of like, if you don't make the right choice, I'm gonna make your life miserable. That's not really how this works. There are different ways to go about achieving the same goals. There are different paths you can take that lead to the same outcome, but the journey is different. Release some of these fears you have about making the right choice. Remember that you are in control and you can decide at any time to reroute. You can end up jumping 10 different stages because you decided, okay, I'm really going to do the work and I'm really going to figure these things out and get really clear. So don't be afraid of your own happiness. People often ask for happiness, but they forget how difficult it is to maintain because happiness is the result of personal effort. Nobody is just effortlessly happy because happiness is also largely a mindset and the way you choose to perceive the world around you. Happiness is also how much you choose to be in control of your own life and your own destiny, even when things happen that feel out of our control. You always have a choice about how you go about doing something or how you react to it. I really think here, the universe is going to be sending in some pretty big surprises. I would expect the unexpected right now. There may be a lot of weird synchronicities happening. There may be a lot of information coming in. You may have some trouble sleeping because you may be downloading things in your sleep, or you may have your guides coming in trying to give you messages in your sleep. Pay attention to the messages at this time that are being sent to you. You might want to write them down and keep sort of a journal of them. Or what I do is I have my actual physical journal, and then I have my notes section of my phone that is designated for when I receive messages I get when I'm on the go. Keep track of those things because you'll start seeing other messages and other patterns that may lead you to some of these breakthroughs. Oftentimes we think that when we're going to expect the unexpected and when we're told we're going to get messages, we think it's going to come from an outside source, in the sense that we think that Spirit's just going to send us a message and it's going to be like abundantly clear, and we're just gonna be like, okay, I know, almost like they just slipped a letter into our mailbox. Oftentimes these things that happen that are unexpected breakthroughs that you have because of a certain amount of work you put into something. Remember what I always say about miracles and blessings often coming as what seem as insignificant things at the time? You'll start to have these breakthroughs sometimes years after like certain things have happened. And a perfect example of that is I went to DC recently and there were people everywhere. And I was talking to somebody who lived there that was with us. And I had said, wow, this is so weird. There's so many people. And he said, well, actually, no, this is normal. And I said, well, that's weird. And he said, why is that weird? And I told him the one time that I had been to DC, there was nobody, but there just so happened to be like a blizzard or an ice storm or something that had happened that year. walking the mall and walking like a lot of these monuments during that time when nobody was there is actually an experience that most people don't have the opportunity to get in DC because there's so many people all the time. And it just so happened that when I went, it was so cold that people weren't up and about, and a lot of like the fountains and the water and things that were at some of the monuments were actually turned off. It was so cold. And I didn't realize that was, probably like 15 years ago or more now. So that being said, that was something that was a blessing that I didn't even realize until almost 15 years later. It's often in the little things that seem insignificant. So remember, when you are getting cards like the Page of Cups that are insinuating unexpected things are going to happen, they may not present themselves in the way that you think they're going to. You can have breakthroughs any moment. You can have a breakthrough in your kitchen. You can have these life-changing, life-altering moments walking down the street. You can bump into somebody that changes everything. Stop putting fences around how and when your blessings can come to you. Get out of that rationalization type of energy where you're trying to rationalize these things. These things are not rational. When you are stepping into your spiritual awakening, you have to understand that there's going to be aspects of that that don't make logical sense, because the logical aspect of things is not inherently spiritual. A lot of the rationalization and the logic that we are using comes from the societal things that we've gone through. It comes from the physical experience of being in the human body on earth. And those things are only exclusive to being in the human body on earth. You are also a spiritual being that is not contained to a body. So remember, when you're thinking about what is and isn't possible, when you're thinking about how and where it can occur, when you're thinking about what defines it, it's not always going to be so black and white. It's not always going to be so inherently obvious. It's not always going to be so rational and make so much logical sense. So try to open your mind up a little bit, because that's largely what this reading is telling you. And although things may feel like they're moving very slow, the Knight of Pentacles is very much a steady, consistent energy. You want to reach your 10 of Pentacles and be able to maintain it. You don't want to rush there, have everything, and then lose it because you don't know how to maintain it. Give yourself a little bit more patience here and have a little bit more patience with the universe, because divine timing plays a lot into how we experience different situations. So stop trying to rush to get to the end. Once you get to this 10 of Pentacles, your life isn't over. You still have other things you're going to want to do. You're going to want to elevate certain areas of this 10 of Pentacles. Remember to enjoy the journey along the way. And so this is your reading. If it resonates with you, don't forget to like this video. Your affirmation is going to be, I am enjoying the journey along the way. I am opening up my mind to the many possibilities that were around me all along. And as always, may your life be full of light, full of love, abundance, and gratitude. I'll see you next time.